Let's go hit the button. Get the pump go. Get the vibe go. Final four. Come on. Let's dance. Final four. Let's go. Come on. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? As we let everybody getting into the building, into watching this show. They call it the Breakin Ankle Show. I'm the host with the most, the point guard of podcast in the self-proclaimed CBB GOAT himself. It is GunzPicks. I feel like I'm echoing. Do you hear that? I think we fixed it. All right. Man, we got a slate today. Not the greatest games on the board, not the greatest matchups on the board, but this is betting. We can find an angle. We can find a way to bet these games and win bets. Now, we got 15 of you beautiful people watching in the building. Please like and subscribe to the GunzPicks channel if you don't do so already. Hit the thumbs up for this video and all the content that I'm going to be giving here. At least I'm going to be giving you picks. I'm going to be giving you analysis, and you can do what you want with this information. It's up to you. This is what this channel is for, to give you the hottest information on the planet, the sharpest information on the planet, in order to be a successful bettor. And please get into the chat, talk to the boys, say hello, tell me where you're from, tell you what you're drinking, what you're smoking tonight on this beautiful Saturday. Man, let's get into some of these games here. Let's start with the early game, right? We have a game at 6:09 p.m. Tip here, NC State versus Purdue. State Farm, like a good neighbor. State Farm Stadium is there. Glendale, Arizona. I caught myself with the jingle. All right. Before we get to the picks and everything like that, I want to give you my analysis of what's going on with these teams coming into the spot. You have an NC State team that's on the rise, right? Last 10 games, they've been incredible. Or last 9 games, they've been incredible, I should say. 40th in offensive efficiency, 157th in field goal percentage, 9th in turnover percentage on the offensive side, 191st in offensive rebounding, 117th in free throw percentage. The rebounding is going to be the key in this game, in my opinion, when we look at the statistics, and I'll get to that in a second. On the defensive side here for Purdue, 17th in defensive efficiency, 30th in defending shots, 13th in defensive rebounding, and they're 7th in the country in allowing opponents to the free throw line, which is very key on this one to keep NC State off the boards and off the free throw line. And then you got the offense that has just been moving up there for Purdue on the rise. They're now up to 2nd in offensive efficiency in the country, 13th in field goal percentage, 6th in offensive rebounding, 9th in getting to the free throw line because they have Zach Edey, and he gets fouled a lot. And they're 2nd in three-point percentage. But don't get that twisted with the three-point percentage. They don't shoot a lot of threes here, Purdue. I'll talk about that too coming up here. But when they do shoot threes, they are very efficient at doing so. And then you have an NC State team that is going to have to deal with a team here that is 181st in defensive rebounding, 14th in defensive efficiency, 116th in defending shots, 156th in allowing opponents to the free throw line. So what I'm saying here, you have a weaker rebounding team. Second chance opportunities are going to be incredibly available here for Purdue, especially with Edey inside. And then when he talks about 156 and allowing opponents to the free throw line, that means this team fouls a lot. And they're going to be fouling Edey inside. It's not necessarily going to be Burns. Burns isn't really a banger inside. He's more of an offensive threat. But I think we're going to be looking at the other options there that are basically their role is to play defense. That I talked about it right here. Getting the ball, Purdue's strength is getting the ball inside to Edey, allowing him to create opportunities, whether they want to double team him or triple team him or actually cave down into the paint, and allowing shooters to get open for Purdue because they make their shots in that type of element of offense. NC State does have Burns, but he's more of an offensive weapon. Like I said, the guys like Mohamed Diarra, he's going to be one of their best defensive options there for NC State, but he's more susceptible in foul trouble. If you look at his statistics on this one, in this tournament, he's gotten into foul trouble in virtually every single game, except for one. And if you look at his history too, during the regular season, he's a guy that ends up getting in foul trouble and sitting the bench most of the game. If that's the case against Edey, that's going to be a very big problem there because there's not a lot of depth there on the NC State side. Then we got the rebounding element, second chance opportunities. NC State loves to do this. They're ranked 38th in the country at extra chance point scoring opportunities. What I mean by that is it could be multiple ways of getting those possessions. It could be creating turnovers, which they're very good at stealing the ball. Second chance opportunities inside, rebounding, eliminating second chance opportunities for the other team. There's a lot of different options to get over that hump. I think they're +3 in that category, but they're playing a Purdue team that's going to limit you in all these statistical categories. We're talking about 6th in offensive rebounding, 13th in defensive rebounding, 7th in allowing opponents to the free throw line. So we're taking away scoring opportunities left and right here. They don't turn over the ball around. Their assist to turnover ratio is ranked 9th in the country. So this Purdue team is leaps and bounds better than NC State altogether statistically. Then you got to look at NC State. What's their success been? Everybody says it's just magic. Everybody says it's just a Cinderella story. Everybody's just saying, you know what? Maybe it's NC State. The gambling or the basketball gods are just saying you are destined to win a title this year. It may be the case. Who knows? One thing that I've noticed about the teams that they've played so far, they're all high 3-point shooting attempt teams. And because of that, NC State has excelled versus those teams in the tournament. We're talking Texas Tech, Oakland, Marquette. More than half of their shots were from 3-point land. And only Oakland was able to hit 34.4% in that game. Nobody else hit above 25% from 3-point land. That's what I'm talking about here. So you got a Purdue team that is productive from the 3-point line. Like I said, they're second in the country in 3-point percentage. The reason is they don't shoot a lot of threes. So you're not going to have those opportunities. They want to get the ball inside and score 2-point buckets. 29.8% of their scoring comes from 3-point scoring, and they're ranked 200th in attempts. So this is a team that is not going to be threatening you from the 3-point land, and that is a beneficial element for Purdue because that's what NC State wants you to do. They want you to shoot threes and miss threes so they could take the ball, rebound it, and play at their pace. You look at other teams, notably, in this odd statistic, low attempt 3-point shooting teams that are high on offensive efficiency. And you have a couple situations that I found in here, and I'm talking top 100. There's not a lot of teams that are offensive efficient as Purdue and shoot below 200th in ranking in 3-point attempts. But they've lost. NC State has lost to Florida State by 7, Cuse by 13 and 4, and Mississippi State by 20. And what I mean by that, these are low attempt 3-point shooting teams below 230 in a lot of these cases, and that's what you have here with Purdue. You look at it, like I said, when you're talking to give you a perspective on that one, with the teams they face in the tournament, you have Oakland 75th, Texas Tech is 98th, and Marquette is 48th in 3-point shooting attempts this season. And in those games, they just shot low, and NC State beat them because that's the game they want you to play. NC State, I also like the team total under in this spot here for NC State, and I'll give you my reasoning for that, and I'll give you the units on this one in a second. Purdue has held Grambling, Utah State, Gonzaga, and Tennessee all to this total, and I'm talking about 68 or less. So even better teams offensively, Purdue has been able to hold them under this number here, 68.5. That's sitting here right now on multiple books right now. And then you got NC State. They average 67 points per game versus top 20 defensive rebounding teams, which you have here with Penn State. I'm sorry, Purdue. Wrong Big 12, Big 10 team. They also struggle versus trying to think what very strong rebounding teams altogether. On 1-4 straight up versus top 20 defensive rebounding teams. They're also 1-5 straight up versus top 75 offensive rebounding teams. This is the best offensive rebounding team by far that NC State has seen all season. And to teams in the top 75 in offensive rebounding, they've lost by an average of 10 points per game. This NC State team. So this is a different type of team that they've seen all tournament long. And I can go back to the ACC tournament as well. Nobody is big, eliminates second chance opportunities, plays efficient defense, doesn't foul a lot, doesn't allow you to get to the free throw line, takes away everything. NC State's going to have to shoot the lights out in this game, which they haven't done all tournament because they haven't had to, because they're going against teams that are just not shooting well because they're trying to rev up as many threes as possible. And then I like the first half here for a second, and I want to talk about the NC State first half. I'm going to be on Purdue for the game, without question. Purdue is going to win this game by double digits, in my opinion. If you even check the statistics, only 5 teams in the history of the Final Four have gone into the semifinals as a favorite of 9 points or more, some in double digits. In those occurrences, which you have 2 tonight, they're 5-0 straight up in ATS. And now you got 2 more here for the 7. This is one of these type of situations that I think we're going to have to get behind here. But I want to talk about why I kind of want to take NC State, and I'm going to give a little half unit on this one. Actually, 1 unit on this one. In the tournaments they played, and I'm including this 9-game streak that they're on, NC State has outscored their opponents 311 to 291 in the first half, leading 6 out of the 9 games, and they're 8-1 ATS in the first half already in that 9-game span. Now, Purdue in the last 2 games have really played to the level of their competition. You've seen it over and over again. And now you have another one of those situations that I think Purdue's just going to come out here a little flat, a little cold, try to get the feel of the game. And they've done it already in the tournament, is they've turned up in the second half. Similar to UConn. UConn does the same thing. And I think it's going to see Purdue kind of like pacing themselves, getting through the first half. And then let's go into the second half, maybe get those guys into foul trouble. And all of a sudden, Purdue's going to take over the game. And then there's a transition into a new venue. These teams are playing in a football stadium, a huge football stadium. It's going to be packed. This is it. The sight lines are weird. It's not like a normal gym. It's not even playing like an NBA gym for that matter. So they're not used to these type of situations in this one. I can see some shooting woes coming in there early, and I can even see it with the Purdue side. And I think this is going to be one of those situations that we're probably going to be leaning towards maybe the first half under as well. I'm not an official pick, but that may be something that we need to take. I know I'm looking at the under on the next game, but I'll get to that in a second. But I think the transition is going to be a little bit dicey on this one. It's plus 5.5 right now. And I think we should just put like 1 unit on here for the first half and then watch Purdue. And if it does hit and it is a close game, I think it's a great opportunity to take Purdue second half because I think Purdue is going to turn up and win this game by double digits. But the plays I'm going to be taking in this game, we're going Purdue -9. We're taking NC State first half. We're taking the team total under 68.5 there for NC State as well. Those are the 3 plays. We got 3 units on the game for Purdue -9, 1 unit on the first half, and 1.5 units on the team total under for NC State. Bang, boom, out the gate. As the Shackies in the building, it's a classic example of the public dog. Public dogs do have fleas. However, in this tournament, it hasn't mattered. It hasn't mattered. They don't have fleas. NC State's been public for the last 2 or 3 games. I understand that. It doesn't matter in some of these situations, but I think this is a different type of element. This is a different type of team, and Purdue's just really primed to win this tournament, I think. UConn isn't. We'll talk about that one later on. Why the book's making the line so high? To give you free money on the dog because they are clueless on averaging the game? No. Yes, that's correct. There's a reason why the line is where it is right now. They can make this line. I think it should have been 12, in my opinion, because I have Purdue winning this game by 12. That's how I'm seeing this one. Let's go into the next game here. Light up the chat, will you? I got to see. Shout out to my guy, Peter. In the building, that kid's birthday party, but I'm listening. Let's go. He's the busiest man in America. That guy's at hockey games. He's at basketball games. He's brushing his teeth. You know, I've seen him at church. He's at church watching this show. You guys need to be doing the same thing too. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. That's what we want in this building. Give him the horn. You got a kid's birthday party. They love horns, right? All right. Let's go to the next game on the board here as we take a sip of the potion. To hit the 3-wheel motion. Give me a yeah. That's right. Woo! All right, as we take a breath, let's go look at the next game on here. We got it at the late night degenerate special. I guess it's not late night. It's the second game of the semifinals here in the Final Four. Alabama versus Connecticut. State Farm Stadium. Same spot. Glendale, Arizona. And I'm going to be looking at the total here in a couple different ways, but I want to talk about everything that has to go with this game. So what is Bama's success, right? Offense. One of the best offenses in the country. They're 3rd in offensive efficiency, 10th in field goal percentage, 22nd in offensive rebound, 25th in free throw percentage, 9th in 2-point percentage, and 21st in 3-point percentage. This is a team that puts up a lot of threes, and they're ranked in the top 20. That's really good in comparison to when you put up a lot of shots over and over and over again. To stay above that 35 percentage threshold is impressive. Connecticut, on the other side, defensive. 4th in defensive efficiency, 3rd in defending shots, 81st in offensive rebounding. Defensive rebounding. 28th in defending the 3, 2nd in the country in defending the 2. The key component on this one, in my opinion, is you're going to have to hold this Bama team from shooting threes and making threes. If you can do that, I don't see a way for Alabama, and they do want to get inside and score inside a lot, But I think they're going to have limited opportunities there because that plays into what Connecticut likes to do. Allow you to make mistakes, get the rebound, push it up the court, and control the pace themselves. They play a very slow pace. They don't want to go tit for tat with you. And because if they do have to go in a fast pace in this game, we've seen it against St. John's. It doesn't work. They tried it in the tournament, in the Big East tournament. It doesn't work at all. But I digress. So you got Bama, like I said, third in offensive efficiency in the country. Now, UConn has faced some pretty good offenses this season, right? Top 20 teams UConn has faced in these spots. Illinois ranked fourth in offensive efficiency in the country. They only allowed 52 points for them. Gonzaga ranked fifth in offensive efficiency in the country, ranked 60, only held them to 63 points, right? Creighton, ninth in offensive efficiency in the country, held them to 48 and 85. UNC held them to 76. St. John's, 65, 64, 90. Marquette, 53, 67, and 57. These are the best top 20 offenses in the country, and they're holding them to between 70 and 50 points a game. That is absolutely impressive. The average between those two teams, actually, if you want to add them all up, including that 85 and that 76, the 76 came early in the season versus UNC, so you can kind of throw that out the window. And Creighton putting up 85 in their home court was a super revenge spot. UConn was coming off a big win themselves. And going into that game, it was a bad spot for them. And I think we took Creighton in that game, if I'm not mistaken, on a Saturday. They only, versus top 20 offensive efficient teams, 66.4 points per game that they allow versus the top teams in the country offensively. And then Bama will have to shoot the ball, right? They're going to have to shoot a lot of threes. That's how St. John stayed in the game versus UConn. If you watch that game, they try to shoot a lot of threes and get the rebound, but that was an St. John's team that's very good on the boards. You look at Bama, they put up 56.5% versus Charleston. Grand Canyon, they put 25.8% from three, and that game was a lot closer than what the score added up to be. I mean, even Grand Canyon had a lead at one point late in the game. UNC, they put up 42.3% from three and 44.4% from three versus Clemson. And if you remember that Clemson game, most of that was during the second half because they put up 104 in the second half. That was dead under game. We had the under, and it just dissipated like that because of that Bama three-point shoot and not missing their shots. On the defensive side, for UConn, though, against three-point shooting teams in the tournament, they've held them to 39 and 141 attempts. That's 27.7% from three this in the tournament. Top 50 three-point shooting percentage teams that they've gone against this season, 38 for 111, 34.2%, which is well below a lot of these teams' averages. If you add them all together, it's 36.2% and above these teams have that UConn has gone against. And then you take it with top 40 three-point shooting percentage teams in attempts, the most attempts per game, which Bama is one of the best in that statistic. They held them to 76 to 228, 33.3% from three. So it's going to be a difficult time. I think they're going to have to get over the 40% mark here for Bama to even have a shot to even stay in this game, because it doesn't matter if UConn's hitting shots or not. They're going to get their opportunities. They're going to try to make life difficult for you on the defensive side of the ball, missing shots. Then you got UConn's defense versus top 42% teams. All these teams put up 54.4% or more in that range, but UConn holds them to 124 to 228, 43.1% from the floor in the tournament. Another example there. Good defense inside. That's why I think Bama's going to have to make their shots from three or it's over, because clinging inside, they're too big, they're too fast, they get in your face, they make you angle shots in weird ways, make you miss, and UConn's very good at doing that inside. The opportunities to take shots on the outside, out on the outside arc. So I'm telling you all these statistics over and over again about low shooting percentages against UConn's defense, low shooting percentages from the three. Bama kind of shooting lights out off and on here in these tournaments, but they're going against defenses that don't defend well versus the three. I think it's going to be an under spot here. I'll give you just a couple key points on this one. UConn holding opponents to 53.5 points per game, including in this tournament, including San Diego State. and Illinois. Illinois, one of the top offenses in the country, holding them to under 60 is impressive. UConn versus top 42% teams in 2-point shooting percentage holds them to 61.3%. Top 50 3-point percentage teams holds them to 63.4 points per game. So in all these cases, it's below 65 points in all of these statistics. And I just think that you're probably looking at the same type of number here in this game versus UConn. And UConn just wants to control the tempo. They want to play slow. They have a low time of possession. They're ranked 30th and 300th in pace as far as time per possession. They take their time to score. They pass the ball around and look for the best efficient opportunities. So they want you to play slow. Bama, in their last few games, have just gotten lucky on these totals. I mean, you look at that game versus Clemson, like I mentioned before. They put up 70 points in 8 minutes. 70 points. And I'm not talking about just Bama. Bama and Clemson all together. They put up 70 points in 8 minutes. 104 points in the second half to get that over. That doesn't happen a lot. That is just sheer I don't know what the adjustments is. It was against Clemson. And it was a dead under from the first half. And then all of a sudden, eight minutes left in the game, they turn on the offense and not miss a single three. So do I see that happen in this game? Not against UConn. UConn's just too much on the defensive side. They're not going to allow that to happen at all like Clemson did. And UConn is also 8-3 to the under in neutral site games and 12-3 to the under as a favorite of between 7 and 15 points. So in all these statistical categories, I'm telling you, and then you have the venue, which is going to be a whole thing to get used to. I know they've been practicing on the floor and everything like that, but it's a whole different element when you get on there and you see those full, packed crowds yelling, screaming. You see the student section going. The sound's different, doesn't hit right. And you're on an elevated floor in the middle of a football field for all that. It's a very weird situation. The sight lines are difficult to understand. So I don't think the shooting is going to be lights out in any point in this game, maybe towards the end. But I think at the end, when you're looking at 61.5, that is not a good spot you want to be in because the total's probably dead at that point if you had the over. So I'm going to be going with the under in this one. I got it at 161.5 for 2 units. That Bama UConn under 161.5, 2 units. And I'm also going to go with the first half under as well, because I think if it's going to be a dead under, it's going to hit the first half, and it's going to here. We may have to double down the second half. Doesn't. We'll have to look at the number, of course. I'll post any plays, second half looks during the games, of course, if I see an opportunity. I think I'll see an opportunity with Purdue if the first half hits there for NC State. But the 2 plays I'm going to be on this one is the under on Bama UConn 161.5 for 2 units. Bama UConn under 76 in the first half, 1.5 units. And I would love to take Bama. I'm not going to. I can't. I mean, UConn is a train. UConn is on its own mission. And in this game, when you're looking at the defensive efficiency of Bama, I think they've just gotten a little bit lucky in these type of spots, especially with the matchups they got. I thought they got way lucky versus UNC, and not only covering that game, but winning that game outright. Because UConn, the shot selection for UNC just fell apart in that game. So I don't think UConn's going to make the same mistakes, not with Dan Hurley and his boys. A very efficient team, lunch pail, blue collar, go to the steam mill, get the job done. That's UConn in there. But I do kind of like that double-digit dog type of spot in there for Bama. Not touching that. We're playing with a total. I think it's an under all the way, first half and game. But those are the picks that I'm going to be on this one. 125 of you beautiful bastards watching me here live. Make sure you like and subscribe to the GunzPicks channel. Hit the thumbs up if you like the videos. That's all. You can keep me in the algorithm of all algorithms that YouTube has deemed fit and is blocking me out. We need to give the people what they want. My energy, my analysis, my statistics, and my beautiful smile. There we go. All right, just want to recap for anybody that has just joined us here. Let's go with the picks. We're going with Purdue on the game on this one, -9, 3 units. We're going to go the first half on NC State, though. We're going to kind of do a little bit of a bob and weave on this game, +5.5, 1 unit. And we're going to go team total under 68.5 there for NC State as well, 1.5 units. And we're going to go back that up with the next game here on the under 161.5. 2 units, and the under 76 first half, 1.5 units on the Bama and UConn game. But those are the plays that hopefully will pay the bills. This has not been the best tournament. I apologize for all those who tailed. I at least give you the sharpest analysis that I can on these games. Just hasn't worked out for me overall. But we persevere. We stay strong. And if there's anybody that knows how to get themselves out of a 6-foot hole, it is me. Oh, me, Gonz. And I don't just take you out of the hole. I put you right to the damn rafters. So that's going to do it here for the show. Appreciate all you guys that have been joining. Let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing. Bang.